What's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to this video. As you can see by the title, this is an assumptions about me video. I'm going to just kind of get right into it because that's why you're here and because there's a lot to get into. I did ask on my Instagram story and I did post a question on YouTube as well, asking you to submit your assumptions of me. Let me know the things that you assume about my life based on what you see from my social channels, from my YouTube, from my Instagram. I'm doing this to really prove a point that you never fully know someone based on what you see online. I did go through some of the submissions. There are so many of them, and a lot of them are true and accurate, and I am excited to talk through some of those things because I obviously hope that you have some idea of who I am from what I share, but I'm also excited to talk through the misconception. Not everyone should feel a need to share all of their deep dark secrets on social media, but I know for me it helps me when I see other people being a little bit more authentic because we are all constantly consuming content. So all of that to say, I wanted to film this video. I'm really excited to go through some of this stuff and let's just jump into it. The first one that I see is you are very extroverted. So I don't even know what I'm considered, but I know that when I am in social settings, like if you were to plop me into a social setting, I am a social butterfly. I want to talk to everybody. I like thrive in that environment when I'm in it. But if I'm home, that's where I want to be. I would always choose to be home, cozy, glass of wine at nighttime rather than being out. I will always choose to be like at home with my family as opposed to going out. However, when I'm out, I am like a chatterbox and I want to just like socialize with everybody. Work-life balance is a struggle now with twins. That is really true, and I hate complaining about this because I am a full-time working mother, but I do work from home, so I don't have to go into an office. I feel for moms and parents that have to leave their home 5 days a week and leave their kids. Like, I get to be home with them, but that being said, it is very challenging to separate the two. I am definitely struggling with that, but I'm just so grateful that I get to take my lunch break and feed my babies and be with my babies, and that's such a blessing. So it's like a push and pull. You're a stay-at-home mom. I'm jealous. I am a stay-at-home mom, but Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day technically, I'm working. So I am a stay-at-home mom, but we have caregivers every day during the week. It's my mother and my mother-in-law. So we have help. I'm not like a full-time stay-at-home mom alone with the kids all day. I think that job is the hardest in the whole world. So I'm not a stay-at-home mom. Don't be jealous. You're a proud but exhausted mother. Yes, that is true. You feel like you fell into motherhood with ease. So definitely not with ease because I struggled a lot with postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression in the first few months. So that clouded my ease into motherhood, I would say. However, I was so nervous about becoming a mom, and the second that my babies were here, I wasn't nervous about how to care for them. That came very naturally for me. I felt very confident that I am the best mother for my children. I've never once doubted that. So I suppose in that sense, it was very easy for me to become Sienna and Ren's mom. It felt like the most natural transition in the world. I would just say that because I struggled with postpartum, it was not easy by any means, but you know, other than that, it is like second nature. You have a ton of friends. I actually saw another comment in here that I'll probably get to later that said, I don't have a lot of friends because I don't talk about them a lot. So I thought it was funny to have two conflicting assumptions. I am definitely someone that has always kept my circle small as far as, you know, my best friends, the people that I go to, you know, when life gets hard, when you want to celebrate big moments, like my best girlfriends. That circle I would say is small. I've always kept it that way. I'm not a very trusting person. However, I am a very social person. So I let a lot of people into my social circles. I love that I grew up with a big friend group, and we've all stayed super close, and those are, you know, a lot of my close girlfriends now and guy friends. And so socially, I think we have a pretty big circle of friends and family, but like as far as my close best girlfriends, that circle has always like stayed small. You're not overwhelmed over the thought of taking your twins out in public. This is actually not true. I am really overwhelmed with the thought of bringing my daughters out alone. When I'm with Jonathan, we'll bring them everywhere. We will do anything. We are the best team, and it's actually really fun to bring them out. We enjoy it. But me by myself, I actually have never brought them out in public on my own. It's really hard if you think about it. I've thought about bringing them to like Target or running an errand, but because there's two of them, I have to put them in the stroller, then get a shopping cart or do whatever. I have thought about it, and I'm like, okay, in time, I could wear one baby and put one baby in the carriage, so I wouldn't have to have a stroller and a carriage because it's two babies. Anytime that I need to like run an errand or something, I just do it with Jonathan or my mom, or I do it on my own when we have caregivers. So I haven't brought them out in public on my own. And I did want to say this on here because I know there's a lot of other twin moms, and I would even say, you know, in those early days of motherhood, the first like 6 months, it's normal if any mom is anxious to bring her kid out in public on their own. Like, it's nerve-wracking. There's safety risks, and there's like, you know, meltdowns that can happen, and it's hard by yourself. And I think it's a little bit harder when there's two, but it's okay if you're not ready yet and you're in those early days of motherhood and you're anxious about going out in public with your baby or babies. That's okay. It's all good. You have your whole life to bring them out and about with you. You are motivated and successful, aka you have your life together. That's really nice of you to say. I never feel like I have my life together. I am motivated. I don't know if I would consider myself successful by perfect definition, but for me, I think success is whatever you want it to be. And when I get through a day and I'm able to get done like one task that I can check off my list, I let myself believe that that was a successful day. So I think it's perspective, and I really think that's a nice comment. But most of the time I don't feel like I have my life together. Having the twins has been more difficult than you planned, and you won't plan to have more kids for at least 3 years, if at all. So twins has definitely been more difficult than I expected. I'm not sure I ever talked about that specifically before, like what did I expect and then what ended up happening. I think the work that twins is, I expected, and it's been that amount of work. The mental toll and a lot of the emotions that go into having 2 children has been so different than I ever expected. You know, the idea that you can't ever give all of your love to like one baby. It's kind of always divided, and sometimes missing one child when you've spent a lot of time with the other because they needed more attention. And it's like this weird push and pull, and then just the emotional toll that having 2 infants and newborns takes on you, I didn't really anticipate, and all those things to say that it has been harder than I expected. So that is true, but it has not deterred us from wanting more children. We actually can't wait to have more children. And if it's twins again, it's twins again. We did it once, we can do it again. You're not a mean girl, you don't get jealous easily, and you are confident. I am not mean by nature. I prefer being kind. I definitely don't get jealous. I've never been a jealous person. It's not in me. I think what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Let's keep it moving. As far as being confident, I do actually think I'm pretty confident. I don't compare myself to other people very often. So I think that breeds confidence innately. I have my moments where I'm not confident. That just makes me human, I guess. You're very granola, religious, and never raise your voice. This one was interesting to me. First of all, I read granola as like being vanilla, and I said that to Jonathan. I was like, is this person telling me I'm boring? Which is fine, you can think I'm boring, but I think by granola you kind of mean like earthy, crunchy things that are organic, things like that. So if that's true, yes and no. I lean into living a natural lifestyle, trying to eat healthy, trying to eat things that aren't loaded with preservatives and garbage and things like that, but I'm not very rigid with that. However, being religious, I actually saw this a lot. A lot of people wrote in that they think I'm religious, and I don't know if it's because just this past week we had our children baptized. I would not consider myself a religious person. I don't go to church regularly, but I'm very spiritual and I do believe in God. So I did go to Catholic high school, Catholic middle school. I pray to God. I pray very often, but I guess by definition I'm not religious because I don't like follow the rules of the church, I suppose. I kind of make my own rules and hope that when my time comes, I'm welcomed into heaven, whatever that looks like. The last part of that was never raise your voice. Not true. I do raise my voice, usually only in my home though. Like, I'm not someone that likes to have major blowouts in public. I will say that, you know, the only person that I really raise my voice with is my husband. And it's not very often that I get to that point, but when I do, he knows that I'm upset. You're really scared to have twins again. Not true. I think that I really would like to experience a singleton baby. I think there's a lot that I would appreciate about having one baby, but I'm not scared. Nothing really scares me anymore. You are super family oriented. Yes, my family is everything to me. I am more family oriented than ever now that I'm a mom and I'm a parent. I am lucky that I live so close to my family that I just like couldn't imagine it being any other way. I see the value in family more than ever. This one's funny. You and Jonathan were cool kids in high school. Jonathan and I went to a very small Catholic high school. It was the same as our middle school. Like, we started at this Catholic school in 7th grade and went all through high school. Small, like I don't even remember how many people we graduated with, but it was really small and everyone knew everyone. I don't really feel like it was a cliquey high school because of that. I feel like I got along with everybody. I don't think there was like cool kids or not cool kids in my high school. If you went to high school with me and you're watching this, let me know if that was not your experience. But Jonathan was an athlete. He played basketball, baseball, football. He was the quarterback. Like, he was really into sports. I did cheer. I was a dancer and I danced competitively outside of my school. So I wasn't as involved in like school sport activities like he was. So he was probably cooler than me. I was getting into more trouble than him. I was a little bit more rebellious. Maybe one day we can dive into like our high school years, because we have been together, if you didn't know, since we were 15, and we definitely have some funny stories that would probably be fun to dig up. But I don't think we were cool or not cool. I don't know. Next is you're fit and make a strong effort to exercise and eat healthy. So exercise is not a priority for me right now. I feel very much like my time is limited with everything that I do. So I have to really prioritize certain things in my life. And right now, my biggest priority is my children and my husband and my full-time job and YouTube. Like, those things are taking up majority of my time. So I'm trying to find that balance because I miss working out. You're a Harry Potter fan. Yes, I think that's very obvious by my dog's name, which is Dobby. You're able to juggle being a mom and working full-time and YouTube really well. It's a juggle. It's not a balance. It is a juggle. It's really hard some weeks, but I am so fortunate that I have a village of people that help me. We have caregivers that don't charge us. Again, being transparent on here, I'm not paying my mother and my mother-in-law to help out with our kids. And that is a blessing, and that is such a privilege, and it is not lost on me. So I really can't complain about trying to juggle because I'm so fortunate for the help that I have while I work a full-time job to provide for my family. So I'm juggling. You and Jonathan have an amazing relationship. Yes, we do on most days. On some days we do not, and we are always trying to work to be better partners to each other. And I did hope that this came up through this video because becoming parents has been an extreme transition for us. We have hit the lowest points of our relationship, but we also have hit this point where we've both never been more sure of each other as life partners, even though it's challenged us and we have seen the darkest parts of each other, I would say, through this chapter of life. It's also really reaffirmed our marriage, I believe. I say that because if you're in a season where maybe you're disconnecting with your partner or you're not seeing eye to eye, you know, don't think that you won't come out of that stronger than ever before. You can. It just takes work. You have to put in work. And I think the biggest reason why Jonathan and I are so solid is because we work at our relationship constantly. We communicate constantly. It is not this beautiful, natural, perfect relationship that just continues to flourish. It takes a lot of work. You have to water that garden, especially as you have a family and you want that family to have this support. It really, you know, the foundation of that is your partnership. So we do have a good relationship, but we work hard at it. You're down to earth and free-spirited. People feel comfortable talking to you. Yeah, I think and hope that's true about myself. I think people are comfortable talking to me. I really value relationships, and I hope that the people in my life feel that they can come to me. I know that I've had a lot of you reach out to connect because you felt like you could, and that's truly the greatest gift that I believe I can give to other people. And so I hope people feel comfortable talking to me. I hope that that's true. You wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I never really thought about like being a stay-at-home mom in the sense that I didn't go back to my full-time job. It was never an option. You know, Jonathan and I know that we both need to make money for our families right now, especially with this economy. I know that's the case for a lot of people. 2 incomes is very important, especially as you grow your family. And so I guess I never really thought about being a stay-at-home mom. The transition back to work after maternity leave was so difficult, but once I got back into it, it just picked back up, and I actually enjoy having something that I can focus on outside of my role as a mother. So no, I think for right now, I'm just fine being a working mom. The girls will go to private school. That is interesting. I am comfortable with public school. I'm comfortable with private school. Jonathan and I have had conversations and we're not there yet, so we don't know, but we don't have like a firm stance on one or the other. I do think high school, likely they'll go private. Based on both of us going to private school, we had a good experience. I think there's a lot of great private schools in our area. So I can see them going private for high school if we can handle that financially, if it's the right decision at the time. You know, I think you get to know your kids. And my mom always said that, you know, she kind of gauged how me and my brother were as kids and decided from there what schools we were going to go to. So I think that's how we'll approach that. Influencing is your full-time job, which is so cool. So that is not true. I definitely don't only do YouTube. Transparently, I do make money from YouTube, and that's not the reason that I started. I did it for like a year before I made any money, because I just love it. This opens a door to meet so many new people, and I love creating videos and sharing my life and having all of this to look back on. I would do it even if I didn't make money. You are pro-life because of religious reason. I actually saw this come up a few times, and I am just going to say that I'm not going to speak on that. I think maybe once, you know, election time comes up, I may be more vocal on certain things if I feel compelled. I'm not afraid to share my opinion, because if you disagree with me, that's totally fine. I don't think I'm going to share my stance on that right now. I think that whatever you believe is great and whatever I believe is great, and we can both coexist. Moms sometimes miss out on things with their non-mom friends, and that's tough. You may get sad when you see some of your friends that don't have kids having a little bit more freedom and doing more things that you used to do, but as far as like missing out on those things, I think you just have to shift your mindset, shift your priorities, and know that you have different things going on in your world right now, and hopefully your non-mom friends still make an effort to see you and do the things that you can do. I have a lot of friends that don't have kids, and they still make just as much of an effort to be with me and make me feel good as they did before, and I hope that I'm doing the same for them. Your priorities are just different, and that's okay. You shouldn't feel like you're missing out on anything because you have this whole new exciting chapter. You don't have to take care of the girls alone very often, so that is true. When I first read that, I was like, oh, does that make me a bad mom? Does that make me, you know, not capable? No, instead I shifted my mindset, and I just was so appreciative for the village that I have, and I am so fortunate that my husband is able to be around, especially on the weekends, and you know, we're just very hands-on together. We're a team, and there's not a lot of time that I'm alone with the girls. I am alone with them certain periods of time, but it's not often because we have a village. We have people that are so excited to help us, and we need help, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even though being a mom is tough, it's worth it. My hubs and I are hoping to try for a baby soon. That's exciting. Yeah, it is extremely difficult and extremely worth it. You and your husband's relationship is super solid. I kind of already talked about that, but yes, it is definitely solid. That is a good way to put it. You are addicted to coffee. That's funny. I am, oh well, I don't know if I'm addicted to coffee, but I do need coffee every day. So does that make me addicted? Probably. I only allow myself 2 cups of coffee a day though. I never have more than that unless one is a half cap if I really need another cup in the afternoon. But I always have 1 cup of coffee in the morning and 1 cup of coffee in the afternoon. That's my gig. Never more than that. I get really bad headaches if I have more than that, but I do really look forward to my cup of coffee every morning, so maybe I'm a little addicted. You're an empathic person. Yes, I think I am. Although you are grateful for twins, you mourn what it would be like with a singleton. That is true. And I kind of alluded to it a little bit from a prior assumption. You don't really know this feeling unless you're a twin mother or a mom of multiples, where you're so in love with your kids. Like literally, I couldn't even imagine not having both of them. Like I count my blessings every single day that God or whoever gave me those 2 girls. But there are times still, and it's, you know, every now and then where you just feel a little overwhelmed with 2. You feel like you don't have enough love to give to both of them. You don't have enough time. You're not able to just pour yourself into one baby, and it's hard. It feels like you're just constantly being pushed and pulled. There's always something to be done. I just mourn the fact that I don't have that extra time to just give to one baby. That experience that you get, especially with your first child, a lot of people maybe take that for granted, and I know a lot of people realize it once they have 2 kids that, you know, they were so lucky to have that one-on-one time with that first baby, and we'll never have that, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Like those moments are fleeting, and then I look at my daughters and I'm like, I am the luckiest person on the planet. So it's like just every now and then you have these little moments. You are Catholic, as the girls just got baptized. So no, I'm actually Protestant. I can't remember if I said that already. But we did get the girls baptized Catholic because my husband is Catholic. I assume you work part-time at your day job rather than full-time. No, I work full-time at my day job, and I usually vlog on weekends and film on weekends. So that's why you don't usually see me working. I know sometimes when I film on Fridays, I'll say I just worked for a few hours. I can understand why you would think that I work part-time because I don't show myself at my full-time job, but I do work full-time. You're an outgoing social person and have a big friend group. I think I talked about that already. We have a pretty big friend group. I would say I am definitely outgoing, and I do love being social. I also love to be home and cozy, and I need to recharge after I'm social, and so it's like yes and no to that. Another, you were popular in high school. I really don't think I was, and I don't think anyone was. Like I don't remember thinking in high school those are the popular girls and these are the nerds. Like is nerds even like a word anymore? I didn't look at high school like that, and so I don't think everyone was just friends with everybody pretty much. It wasn't hard for you to get your body back after twins. I just didn't really care to get my body back. It was like not something that I ever focused on. I think I just remember hitting month 3 and realizing that I had lost a good amount of the baby weight, and a lot of it was just due to stress. Motherhood has changed my mindset on my body so much. Like I don't care about having this beautiful, perfect body back. I'm not as stressed as I was in those early days where I probably did like shred some of the baby weight. Now I'm just like living my life, focusing on my family, and that's how it should be. We need to stop caring about postpartum weight loss and mothers' bodies in general, because we all look good. You don't make enough money to do YouTube full time. That is true. You are politically and socially left, but also religious. So again, I don't really want to talk politics on here. I don't want to be the person that's like afraid to share my beliefs on my social channels, because then that's not me. But I'm just like not in a space where I can take that on right now to share, because people are so opinionated. So maybe down the line. And also, I'm not down with how much politics has divided us. I think that we could be so much more productive if we can like see eye to eye rather than just completely tear each other apart. I'm trying to, you know, adopt that mindset as we go forward, but I just don't feel like saying my political stance right now. I'm sorry if that's annoying. You're gonna try to have a VBAC if you can. Yes. For those of you that don't know, a VBAC is a vaginal birth after cesarean. I did have a C-section with my twins, and I would really love to experience a vaginal delivery. I say I would love to, like it's some magical experience. I know that it's like extremely difficult, but I would like to experience it. I definitely always pictured myself having a vaginal delivery, and that was really never an option for me with a mono-die twin pregnancy. So I would love to have another baby and have it be vaginally. Yes. You always wanted to be a girl mama. That's so funny. I never really cared. Not that I don't care, because now that I am a girl mother, I like couldn't imagine anything else. It was never something that I thought about. Like I never thought I need to have boys, I need to have girls. Jonathan is the same way. We just kind of wanted to be parents. And even with our next child, everyone likes to say, oh, are you hoping for a boy? Are you hoping for a boy? Like we just always pictured ourselves having 3 kids. So I don't really think it makes a difference, the gender. I really don't. You are very intentional when it comes to motherhood. Yes, that is very true. Every new chapter, every phase that we walk through, I do lead with intention. So yes, I think that's true. You are well off financially. I think that's like a interesting question to answer, and I think that we do well. I don't know that we're well off. Jonathan and I work really hard. We are very fortunate that we have families that helped us through life. However, I mean, for me, I have been working since I was 14 years old. I've always worked my way through life. I've always wanted that to be the case. Both my parents came from not much growing up, and they had to work really hard to be able to provide for my brother and I always really valued that, and I always wanted to work hard myself. And so I've provided for myself for a really long time. However, I have had help from my parents with college and with certain things, and I'm saying that because I think that it's important to acknowledge your privilege, and I think it's important to acknowledge the background you have in order for other people to not compare themselves to you, or to kind of understand where you're at. And so I don't feel the need to tell you exactly how much money we bring into our home, but we do well, to answer that. You tend to be an early bird and Jonathan a night owl. So that's actually pretty true, except now with parenthood, we both have to be up early. So he's always up early, and we're both pretty excited because we get to hang out with our daughters. I think that traditionally and in the past, I was always up a little earlier. Actually, that's not even true, because when I was pregnant, Jonathan was on like a workout kick and he was getting up at like 6 every morning. So I don't know. I do love the mornings though. I've always been a morning person, and as far as like productivity goes, I'm much more productive in the morning than at night, but Jonathan says that he's more productive like at night. And I know when he was in school, in law school, night times were like when he thrived. So I think that's kind of true. You're a girl's girl. Yeah, I think that's true. I love hanging out with girls. I'm definitely not a boy's boy. I do have a lot of guy friends that I love so dearly, and I love hanging out with them. So I'm just like a girl of the people. You're a fun-loving mama. Thank you. Hope so. You grew up wealthy. I already touched on that. I wouldn't say that we grew up wealthy. I wouldn't say I'm wealthy now. I think that, you know, we get by. We work hard. We bring money into our homes. That's how I grew up, and we just keep it moving. You have a hard time telling your daughters apart sometimes and call them by the wrong name. So not anymore. Honestly, if I'm looking at Sienna and Ren, I always know who's who. I don't ever struggle with telling them apart. However, like, there are times where I have a baby and I'm like, who do I have? Whenever I'm looking at both of them, I always know who I'm looking at. So I don't mistake them anymore. You are Italian. That is actually not true. So sad. My husband likes to make fun of me all the time because he is very Italian and I am not. I never did any of those DNA tests, so I actually don't know what I am, but my mom did one and we're mostly Irish, Swedish, a few other things that I can't recall, but eventually I'll do one of those tests. Jonathan and you are best friends. That is true. He is my best friend in the whole world. You are a great mom and never lose your shit. That is not true. That is not true. That's all I'll say, is that is not true. You've handled the transition back to work and finding that new balance really well. I think that is true. It was a hard transition at first, but now there is a balance, especially since we sleep trained the girls and we're all getting sleep again. Everything feels so much more attainable, like life feels like it can go on. And so the balance is there now, I would say. You and Jonathan never fight. Bickering doesn't count. That is not true. We fight. We absolutely fight, and it's more than bickering. We disagree on things, but we don't really have like fundamental differences that cause like big outbursts or big arguments. We have heated conversations when we're feeling like we're not on the same page, but they don't last long. They are usually over by the end of the day because we like to talk things through. I like to communicate. I like to get everything off my chest. I'm not someone that can like walk away and let things go. There are times where he probably would rather do that, but that doesn't solve anything. So we do fight. We definitely fight. Okay, so that is the last assumption that I'm going to go through because this video is getting very long. So thanks for watching if you made it to the end. Hopefully it was cool to just hear a little bit more about me and it reminds you that we're all just walking the same path of life over here, trying to get through. Thank you so much for being here and I'll see you in my next video.
I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws.